Hey, LS11 Universe, it's Zander and Ray, and welcome back to a tier list. That's right, Ray and I are finally together for a tier list once again, and I think Ray now wishes I hadn't invited him.
Part of me says yes, part of me says no. All of me says let's do a tier list and let's do this incredibly dumb idea for a tier list.
So this tier list is every tag team we've ever had, and what do I mean by that? I mean, if they competed in the tag team division, meaning they were eligible to challenge for the tag team championships, then they are listed here. Every combination that we have. And we have the options of a legendary team, top guys, memorable, they were a tag team, and jobbers at best.
Exactly.
So, Ray, we got the B team. I think that's a great place to start with jobbers at best.
Okay, sure. We're not going to talk about every team in detail,
No,
guys.
no. So when it comes to ones that I think are up for debate, I will say that. But Alliance World Tour, I'm actually going to put at the either at the very top of jobbers at best or the very bottom of War a Tag Team, because they actually did get a handful of wins and challenged for the titles twice.
I'm not a big fan of that kind of comedy gimmick. That's not my style of wrestling. I would put it at the top at the bottom.
All right.
Sorry. And so let's go on to our next one.
We got Chad Gable and Mustafa Ali. I
They
think
were
they
a
should just go
tag
in
team.
War. Yeah, I think War a Tag Team. They won, but they weren't that important to the division. But now here's on to the first one that'll probably be in one of these higher tiers. We got Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. Currently one of your top teams in NXT.
Yeah, they are. They challenged to take over. Unfortunately, they didn't walk away with the belts, and you will figure. I'm trying to get away from the light. When's this video coming out?
Tomorrow.
Okay, so yeah, so you guys don't know have the Super Brawl yet. So there's that. So something important does happen to them at Super Bowl. I would put them in memorable. I won't put them necessarily in top guys.
Yeah, I was going to argue memorable as well. Then we've got Drew Gulak and Baron Corbin. They won 2 matches. That's it. So Drew Gulak and Tony Nese, I'm going to put at the bottom of We're a Tag Team because they've had a decent run.
Yeah.
Okay, now on to the next kind of important one, which is Grizzled Young Veterans. I think they belong in top guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're legendary. No, not yet. I mean, we are going to continue a story with them because we do like them a fair bit.
Right, but I definitely think they belong in top guys. They're former Raw Tag Team champions, as you can see. They were a big part. They main evented Survivor Series, but they just haven't done that little bit to break through into legendary team, if you ask me. Onward to the Hearty Boys. So if people watch this with no context, we would get crucified by the wrestling community right here. I'm just going to put them in We're a Tag Team, though, because we didn't have them for very long.
Yeah. Hardy went to AEW pretty early on. Matt did. Yeah. He went to AEW pretty early on, and so we didn't have them for long.
Yeah, next, so essentially we had to re-debut Jeff.
Yeah. Next
is the current NXT Tag Team Champions, the Hart Dynasty.
Yep, a team that a lot of people didn't get when I was bringing them back, but I think people slowly turned around and actually started to really enjoy the Hart Dynasty as NXT Tag Team Champions.
I would put them in top guys for now because I don't think they did. I think they've been champions for a little while, but I think it's not quite to the point. We haven't seen how their reign ends yet, so I think once we see the end of their reign and know everything about their reign, that might be enough to push them to legendary. But I think top guys for now.
Yeah, but I think the experiment I did with them turned out a lot better than I thought it would.
Which makes sense.
I did not think it was going to work at all.
Yeah. On next to Heavy Machinery, another one of those teams we're not going to spend much time with. I'm going to put them at jobbers at best.
We're not a fan of them. At least I'm not, anyway.
I liked Heavy Machinery. There just wasn't room for them in what we were doing. Yeah. Okay, this one, Hendry and Connors. Bit of a bit. I'd say it belongs in probably like somewhere in
You forced on me.
Yes, I'm aware. So that's why I say they either belong in Were a Tag Team or like tail end of Memorable, because they did go on to cause Joseph Connors to be one of the biggest stars in NXT.
You can put him in Memorable.
Okay, on to our iteration of the Hurt Business, Cedric Alexander and Noam Dar.
I think they're memorable to top guys. I don't think they just were a team, and I think
They're definitely not jobbers.
yeah, they're definitely not jobbers. They won the tag titles.
I think I'm going to put them in top guys because they've been pretty important. People really love them as a team. They've gotten a lot of wins. They're still winning now. So I think they belong in top guys.
Yeah.
Which leads us into our next team, Imperium, who would be the first team I would actually argue could go in either of the top two slots. What do you think, though? You're the one that's been booking them primarily for the last year and a half.
So, because of, and this is another part of my frustration with the whole being forced to book this, what I think is you give Imperium good matches against all these teams that lasted a good while. I had to just kind of blow the load with a gauntlet match and then have them lose to Hendry and Connors in a very anticlimactic fashion. See how Xander looks uncomfortable. But anyway, so I'll put them in top guys. I'd put them in memorable myself, but I'll let you put them in top guys to feel better about you.
Well, I think they also belong in top guys because we're not just counting it as their title reign. It's the team in general, obviously.
I know.
Okay, this one's going to be a bit indecisive. Insanity Incarnated, Brian Kendrick and Killian Dane, I would argue were a tag team.
Yeah, but you ended up liking them so much more than I did.
Yes, but they're not really. I think if you told people, Brian Kendrick and Killian Dane were a tag team in LS11 Universe, people would be like, really?
Yeah, but Zander loved Insanity.
I did. All right, this leads us on to Sammy and Kevin. The Sammy and Kevin show, former tag team champions. I might argue these guys for a legendary tag team.
No, not to me.
Really?
I think there's only been like a handful of really legendary tag stuff we've done. Our tag team division, unfortunately, has been kind of lacking in a way. I only have a few I put in there, but I think I put them in top guys definitely, but I don't think I'd put them in legendary now.
All right, yeah, maybe not quite. Kings of Wrestling is next. Cesaro and Cassius Ohno, a team that if Cassius Ohno hadn't gotten released, I would argue would be in legendary by now because they would have been tag team champions on SmackDown by now.
Yeah,
but I think they should go at the bottom of memorable, personally.
Yeah, well, memorable is fair.
All right, Legado del Fantasma. Because I couldn't find an image of just Mendoza and Wild. I hate to say it, but I think they're just jobbers at best right now. I don't think they've won a single tag match yet.
Yeah, and it's just because Escobar has been doing so much stuff in the singles division. But Legado del Fantasma is getting. I would have plans them to get some more credibility in season 3.
Right. So on next is the Limitless Bros, a team. They're an active team. They are in the tag division, but they're also singles guys. I don't think they've done quite enough to be like top guys because they've never challenged for the gold. I think a lot of people are kind of probably surprised that they're actually listed as a tag team. So I'm going to put them just in were a tag team, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one I feel like needs a little bit of explanation. Ziggler and Rude are going in jobbers at best because they literally had one match in the tag division on episode 3 where they lost, and that was it.
Yeah, and then we did Rude and Storm, and something happened with Ziggler, and then Ziggler ended up in NXT.
Yep. Okay, so this one, I want your opinion on this one. I'm going to let you talk about this one because these are guys I know you like, Lorcan and Birch.
Yeah, I haven't had much time to push them.
Right, they are at Super Brawl, though. They're in a prominent match at Super Brawl.
They are in a prominent match at Super Brawl, and we do have plans to them down the road. So I think I'm going to put them in we're a tag team right now.
Okay, I'd say very top of War Tag Team.
Very top War Tag Team, nearing memorable, but I think they could easily shoot up to top guys with what we have planned for them in the future.
All right, Lucha House Party, Jobbers.
Jobbers, yep.
Rusev Day is next. I'm going to put them in War Tag Team because they did. I mean, as a team, they got Rusev to a world title match, and they were supposed to have bigger plans. They were pretty over because Rusev Day was always really over as an act. But they obviously weren't around enough to be memorable.
Yes.
Okay, now this one, Miz and Morrison, arguably our worst tag team champions on SmackDown.
I put them in War Tag Team, maybe a memorable in War Tag. Top of War Tag Team, but still War Tag Team.
Yeah, they were literally together long enough to put the belts on them, and that was it.
Yeah.
Okay, this one should
Speaking of that, Edge and Christian.
Edge and Christian. The team that was never supposed to win the gold. Technically, little unknown secret of LS11 Universe, technically, Edge and Christian never should have been tag team champions. Had the long-term story of the revival plan played out, we'd be talking about tag team champions, the Brothers of Destruction.
God help us.
Anyways,
sometimes we're kind of forced to fix our plans in a way that works better. Because, in hindsight, I don't think EC3 versus Braun Strowman would have worked nearly as well as I thought we could have made it.
Yeah, I think you and I are in the same boat there on that one. So, if we were talking, like, the same with the Hearty Boys, if we were talking actual real-world WWE, Edge and Christian would be one of the greatest tag teams of all time. But if you look at LS11 Universe, they had a 4-month run. They were champions for 3 of those months. But I can't tell you a standout match they had either as a tag team.
Yeah, and then they had their like kind of return thing with the Undisputed Era. That was really just kind of a heat thing to get Adam Cole more over as a top heel before he won the belt.
Yeah, I think if we'd had Christian a little longer, we probably would have done Edge and Christian versus the Undisputed Era at some point.
Yeah.
But I think they at least belong in top guys.
Yeah, sure.
If not legendary, but I'm going to say top guys. We've not quite had a legendary team. There are a couple teams I will argue legendary for in here.
You could probably guess the one I'm going to immediately say.
It's the exact same one I'm thinking, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah.
So Blake and Cutler, I'm going to put at the top of jobbers at best. Because I think of them more as Rollins' disciples than I do the Forgotten Sons.
Yeah, and they didn't last long. Even though I think they would have been cool versions of the Disciples.
Yeah, they would be the tag team champions right now if it weren't for their releases. Okay, so Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara and Rey Mysterio and The Big Show. Both teams were jobber teams.
Yeah.
Speaking of...
We have an unsettling amount of jobber teams.
Yeah. Speaking of... The Dudleys probably belong in jobber teams.
Unfortunately, it's like Edge and Christian, but worse because the Dudley Boys are one of the greatest teams ever. But
in all fairness, the Dudleys only had one match in LS11 Universe history.
I know.
Okay, so the New Day, I'm going to put in memorable because they haven't had that breakthrough moment yet to where they've become. They haven't won the titles yet. They haven't really challenged for them very often. They're just now starting to get a lot of wins. So I think soon we could say they're top guys. But right now, I'm going to argue the 3 of them go in memorable.
Yeah.
Okay, Eric Young and Mojo Raleigh. Probably shouldn't even have included them here because I think they had one tag team match together. But they were in the division. So I count it.
Okay, then.
Okay, now we're on to... Well, I guess let's grab both sets of them if I could find the other image here. There we go. We got both different versions of the current Monday Night Messiah, as I count them as different versions of the tag team, but technically it's all one big group. Seth Rollins, Shane Thorne, and Dio Madden as tag team champions. And of course, what do you think about this iteration of the Monday Night Messiahs? Where would you rank this iteration as a team?
Okay, I definitely rank the Rollins and Thorne version above the Madden and Thorne version.
Right.
Because this is like, we scraped the bottom of the barrel because, God, wow, just what we've been forced to do to keep this Millennium Messiah storyline alive.
Yeah, in fact, you know what? I've got a meme I made last night. I'm going to put that up on screen in just a second here, just so people can see it. I sent Ray this at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was on a Discord call with our buddy Prince Mada, and I made this meme based on all the releases that have mainly come from the Monday Night Messiah faction. And one of these people wasn't technically part of the faction, but he teamed with them on a pay-per-view, so I count it. The Monday night, no longer Messiahs, Monday night, for fuck's sake, stop releasing our faction members. You look at this, these, Rollins, Thorne, and Madden are the only three that are still part of the faction. Connors has never really been part of the faction, but people think he was, so I included him. Literally, Cutler, Blake, Akam, Razor, and Murphy have all been released.
So what we've had to do to keep this alive, it's like you're a doctor and you have this patient that keeps coming out of this coma, but they keep slipping back into it.
Right.
It's like, God damn it, stay alive.
So, I wouldn't say that this iteration is legendary yet. I honestly think it might be my favorite iteration, though.
The Rollins and Thorne?
I think Rollins and Thorne might belong in Legendary because their gimmick together for the last nearly year has been a really good dynamic, in my opinion.
Rollins and Thorne have been together for a year?
Almost.
What?
They came together December of last year. They've been together for 8 months, almost 9 months for us.
Okay. I put them in top guys. I'm not sure they go in Legendary yet.
And then Thorne and Madden, I'm going to put at the bottom of memorable because we've really only just started to see what they can do as a team.
Yeah.
We move on now to Andrade and Angel Garza. I'm going to put them in We're a Tag Team.
Yeah.
Okay, but now on to a team I think that's going to have a lot more for us to talk about. Mustache Mountain.
Mustache Mountain, if we were releasing this, I won't spoil anything for you guys. Anyway, but I'm going. They're nearly legendary to me, but
Yeah.
I can't quite yet. Given our current timeline, given where we sit right now in the release thing, because I know what happens, and Zander knows what happens, but you don't know what happens yet.
All right, something in top guys for now.
Yeah.
Okay, Ryder and Hawkins, obviously.
Fair.
As much as I would love, if they'd stuck around, they'd probably be in one of these two categories, but we only had them for like 3 or 4 matches.
Who?
Ryder and Hawkins.
Oh, yeah.
So a fairly new team to the scene now, but they are challenging for the tag titles literally in 2 weeks. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, I think probably just were a tag team for right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I put them there too.
Okay, Slater Gator.
Top of legendary, man. No one's top of legend.
Okay. Now then, we're getting close. There are like 3 teams I would say are legendary, and we're getting close. Gallows and Anderson. Had they been, if we still had them now, they'd be legendary, but we lost them pretty early on, so I'm going to say kind of right here in the middle at memorable.
Yeah, that's fair.
Garza and Carrillo, there we go.
The Street Profits.
Oof. I feel like they just got to go to the bottom of memorable.
Yeah, unfortunately, I am a massive mark for Montez Ford.
Oh, I love the Street Profits. We just haven't had the chance to give them their time yet.
Oh my god, I love them so much. I can't wait for our opportunity to push them.
It's gonna be great.
Next is a team that if we had the opportunity to do more, which we could have continued with them in hindsight.
Yeah, turns out we could have continued with them. Even without EC3. And if we did, I think they would have been the funniest tag team we've ever had.
Is Bronson Reed and?
You mean Braun Strowman and Drake Maverick?
Oh, yeah. Braun Strowman and Drake Maverick.
So I'm going to say just we're a tag team.
Yeah, unfortunately. I was still looking forward to what we were going to do with them.
Yeah, I wish we could have. So Authors of Pain. is the first team I will argue truly for legendary. And here's why. They were the kickoff to the Monday Night Messiah faction. They didn't lose a single match until they lost the tag titles.
Yes.
And they were part of what I would say is the strongest time in the Monday Night Messiah timeline.
All right, we can't put them in legendary. I will allow that. I'll put them at the bottom of legendary. I'm not quite sure about that because it's just I see the one team I will regard at the top of legendary, and you know what that is. So,
we all know what team is going to be the top of legendary.
Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going.
So we got Andrews and Webster. They never had titles, but this was the only image I could find of them that was clear.
I love Mark Andrews and I love Flash Morgan Webster. I haven't had the opportunity to push them yet. I'm going to get to it at some point in season 3 with what I want to do with the cruiserweight division. They're going to move up. Trust me.
Yeah. But okay, so we're on to DIY. Now, DIY is a tough one.
Because you want to put them in legendary because it's the whole surrounding story of Tommaso and Gargano.
Right.
But they didn't hold the belts for very long.
No, they only had the belt. They only held their tag team run in general was only 3 months. Like they've only been a tag team since the month of Survivor Series. It's now the month of Elimination Chamber. Fucking fruit flies, man! I'm so ready to be out of here.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm leaving that in. By the way. Anyway. That way people know what I've been doing that about the whole video, because there's one that's been in my face. Anyway. It's hard. Like, you immediately want to put them in legendary, like you said, because of their surrounding story. And to an extent, I almost feel like they could be.
But then again, that's the rivalry. It's like are The Rock and McFoley are they one of the best rivalries ever? Sure. Are they one of the best tag teams ever? You want to say it's because of their great rivalry, but they're not.
Right. DIY are top guys.
Yeah.
Okay, no more needed to say about them. So Beer Money Inc.
What are those people?
The Bollywood Boys.
Okay.
Never won a single match in 2 years. Got fired. Anyway. James Storm and Bobby Roode. Oof, this is a tough one. Because it's another team that you could almost say is legendary because it is what helped make Bobby Roode a superstar of LS11.
It is, but they weren't top of their tag team division for very long. They lost the belts. They didn't have a lot of memorable matches. Right. We could never properly do it due to the limits of 2K and the abilities and features they supply us with.
Right. Like, we could never give them the beer cruiser.
Yeah.
So, probably top guys, then.
Yeah.
Okay, Primo and Epico, I honestly forgot we're in Universe. Jinder Mahal and Shelton Benjamin, throwaway team. The Hunt, throwaway team. Anyway, now at least we have teams we can genuinely rank for the last 6.
Okay.
So, on to Ray and Dominic Mysterio. Memorable.
Yeah.
They won the titles. Speaking of top guys, though.
The Revival.
It would feel like a sin not to put them as top guys. The division, this one is literally named for them.
Yeah. At least top guys.
I think if we still had them, they would be the best tag team we've ever had.
Yeah, but put them in top guys because I'm not going to put them any lower than that. They're the Revival. They're awesome.
All right, so we're saving the best for last. I'm kidding. Undisputed Era is the best tag team we've ever had. Do we even need to elaborate?
Yeah, they are.
We missed you, Bobby Fish.
Goodbye, Bobby.
Okay, so the final 3 teams.
Beautiful.
Let's knock out the Wyatt family. I think they're memorable. People really like this iteration of the Wyatt family.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, final 2 teams, the Usos and the Viking Raiders. Which ones do you want to rank first?
Let's put the Viking Raiders in. I love the Viking Raiders. I love their independent stuff.
Yeah.
So I want to put them in top guys. I'm not sure if they deserve that, but I like them quite a bit.
They'll go at the bottom of top guys because they've had some good matches. They've been consistent in the division. And I could almost argue the Usos are also top guys.
Yeah.
Because, like, they haven't quite had that moment yet to break back through.
Yeah,
But
they're not done yet.
Right, they're far from done. So yeah, here you guys go. About 25 minutes of us ranking every tag team we've ever had. Yes, there are a lot in jobbers at best, but you need enhancement talent. There are a lot in we're a tag team, but keep in mind how many of them are still going today. Not many. Literally, a couple of them just formed recently. A lot of our tag teams that are still going right now, the Undisputed Era, Mustache Mountain, the Monday Night Messiahs, Imperium, Hart Dynasty, GYV, Hurt Business, Usos, Viking Raiders. So many of our current tag teams are in these top tiers. So it's not like division's always been dead.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to what we're doing on NXT. I don't think it's any secret if you know my timeline, like of they debut on NXT to when they show up in the universe. MSK is showing up fairly soon.
Yeah, MSK will be here soon. I'm not a big MSK guy, but keep in mind NXT is raised ground. I can say no to things, but I usually don't.
Yeah, but he usually likes what I book, so.
And I usually just kind of let you do what you want within reason, unless it's Joe Hendry.
I will.
And Joseph Connors.
Bye, guys.
Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I've been Zander. He's been
Ray.
Ray. That was a tier list.
Bye-bye.